The most obvious example is probably Israel. That is probably the diasporic state, par exemple. And what Israel has done is to really create the environment, the enabling environment for a whole range of interactions between people in Israel and the Jewish diaspora to interact and productively. That is the ideal state maybe, and there may be a few other examples of countries that are probably trying to make that happen in terms of getting the diaspora involved in their development. But other than that, I think we're looking at cases of individual initiatives happening. I think the good news is that there are more and more countries that are beginning to embrace the diaspora, see the diaspora, the potential, and therefore create that enabling environment, those conditions that will enable small and medium-sized enterprises or other actors to engage more productively with the diaspora. Almost certainly yes, and we would expect that at any given moment probably the entrepreneur is also playing the role as the advisor, the investor as the champion, etc. That said, it can help just to think of these roles almost as a spectrum. So you perhaps start from the safer end of the spectrum where, for example, being a connector, being a supporter, a champion is less risk and less effort than actually getting into a business partnership, investing in a business and things like that. But at any given time, I think you'd expect to see multiple roles playing out at the same time. The markets are not limited. Certainly there is the opportunity to leverage off nostalgia, identity, and that longing for home, as it were. And some products lend themselves more and better to those markets. But the truth is that you can actually see this as an opportunity across the spectrum, because the whole idea is that you're talking about even a commodity that is facing a very severe competitive pressures, given the brand that actually might have and the relevance that has for a particular diaspora segment of the market, that can actually be viable for that segment, and then as an entry point into other markets that may have a different relationship with that brand, but still it gives you that entry point. So I think the important thing is not to be limited by the idea that this is only a very narrow niche product, and really look and interrogate really what that brand means, what that product means, and how it can actually be relevant for a wider range of consumers.